Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm all
It's a
right.
great pleasure to have you all here today. My name is Oyamendo Amon, and I was asked to speak on parenting, to be exact, polite parenting. The first question is, what is parenting? Parenting itself has been as old as mankind. From the creation, parenting has existed. Parenting simply is raising up a child, either directly, that's by blood, or through adoption, or being a step parent, whatever means or form you have. Are you all hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Parenting simply is raising up a child, either as a biological parent, that's by blood, or through adoption, or being a step parent, with the aim of ensuring healthy development. Now, what is this healthy development? What does it comprise of? The physical, the mental, the emotional and social needs of the child. Now, the first question is the physical needs. How do you meet the physical needs of a child? Number one is the area of clothing. Is he or she being well clothed? Is he or she being well fed? Is he or she being well secured? She being well protected? Emotionally, how well do you express your feelings, your emotions to your child? Mentally, socially, does your child have a voice in the issues of the home, or is your child powerless, meaning is your child silenced? These are requirements that in the area of parenting. And also good parenting is not only limited to blood. Sometimes we get so carried away or get entangled with the fact that, okay, this is not my child, so I'm not expected to take care of her. I'm not expected to take care of him. It shouldn't be limited based on that this is not your child by birth. Whatever situation you're in as step parent or through adoption, whatever it may be, or being a guardian, there should be fairness, there should be a sense in the way you treat that child. And also like to put in, before raising a child, build yourself up. Able to raise a child without being whole as a person. So building yourself up is very, very important. Be whole first before you be able to raise another child. Be whole physically, be whole emotionally, be whole mentally, be whole financially, be whole socially. These are things that we need to put into consideration when thinking of parenting. So go to the next slide, which is on parenting style. Parenting style simply is a parent's behavior towards their child in the area of their body language. How does the parent express herself facially towards the child? Their tone of voice, are they screaming whenever they're interacting with the child? Are they screaming, or what tone of voice is being used when interacting with the child? The emotional displays in the area of, are you expressive of your feelings? Do you show affection towards your child? Quality of attention. Are you much present? Are you aware of what's happening with your child? These are all these things comprises of what we call the parenting style. And I also like to know that children's traits also influence their parenting style. In as much parents also, we are a product of our environment, and what we learn or get from our environment. Also, our children can also influence the way we parent. There's some kids who are, that have temperaments, who are short fused, and they don't listen carefully. They don't really pay attention. They don't really listen. So sometimes it could influence how the parents might act towards that child, and vice versa. At the end of this point, it's just to let us understand that parenting style itself is behavior, how a parent behaves towards the child. Okay, the next slide this is a very common a theory by Diana Baumried and Makovai plus Martin style. Diana herself proposed 3 types of this parenting style, which is the authoritarian, authoritative, and the permissive. Like you could see from the diagram on how it's an authoritarian parents act, on how authoritative parents act, and how permissive parent acts. And then Makovai also added the 4th type of parenting style, which is the uninvolved parenting style. These are just further explanation as to what authoritarian parenting style entails, what authoritative parenting style entails, what uninvolved parenting style entails, what permissive parenting style. Now, I'll just give a brief each of them. Parenting style. It's an environment that parents use, enforce, they set rules and regulations. And as much as they set those rules and regulations, they are very much supportive, they're very much responsive to the needs of their children. The children actually have a voice. The children actually have a voice in conversations. There's an open conversation between the parent and the child. It's actually the opposite, in as much that parents set clear rules and clear expectations of their behavior, they are not supportive, they're not responsive to the child's needs. Permissive itself, as it even implies, there are no rules set. There are no rules set in permissive parenting style. So it's more like anything goes. It's not like the authoritative or the authoritarian, where there are stated rules in the home. But in a permissive parenting style, there are no rules. It's just anything goes. And then the uninvolved, as it implies, the parents are more like they neglect their children. They neglect their children's needs. And as much as they provide basic needs, but they are much more preoccupied by their own needs than that of their children. They don't put their children first. They don't put the children's needs first. So that explains the parenting style. So now to the polite parenting, which is the topic of today. What is it all about? What is polite parenting? Following the above parenting style by Diana Baumried and Makovai, we get to realize that we can group polite parenting under authoritative parenting. Polite parenting can be also explained as the more acceptable way of parenting, which entails, number one, putting the child's needs first. It's very important as a parent that you put your child's needs first. It doesn't mean that your needs are neglected, but when you become a parent, your child should be first. Number two, meeting the developmental needs. Now, as a parent, you need to meet the developmental needs of your child. And number three, providing routine and consistent care. Routine in the area of hygiene, the way to be ordered, the way to be clean, so teaching them how to take their baths, how to brush their teeth. These are basic things that we need to, the area of hygiene, that a parent should be able to teach their children. So the next slide is, I was just going through something on YouTube and I got very intrigued about this lady. Her name is Brenna Brown, and she talked about parenting manifesto. And I was very much intrigued about it because it was just amazing at what she said. And she said something about that is very necessary, it's very important that every home should have a parenting manifesto. Now, what is a parenting manifesto? A parenting manifesto is simply a written down, like the example, like the note I put down there is just a written down statement from the parent to the child, stating that, sorry?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I heard someone.
Yeah.
Okay, are we all hearing? Are we all hearing me clearly?
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear
so
you.
This is very much. Okay, this is a pictorial explanation of how on Parenting Manifesto by Brené Brown. And it was very intriguing. As I said before I was cut short, a parenting manifesto itself is a written down statement about from a parent to the child, where the parent states states their intentions, what they intend to do for the child and their intentions towards their child. That's why I give an example of number one, I want you to know that you are loved and lovable. In as much this manifesto is there, is just to state out your intentions, to state out how you feel, your thoughts, about your child, and also expectations still. But when given this manifesto, that's why I talked with the first slide I made. I said, before being a parent, these are things we should think about. Make sure that you're whole as a person. Make sure you're whole emotionally. Make sure you're whole mentally. Now, all those things are very important in trying to raise a child. So bringing up this initiative about parenting manifesto, it's actually good, but applying this to your home, it also needs to be backed with action. It's not just only about saying these things to your child, but your child needs to feel that he or she is loved. So this, in as much it's a very good initiative, it also needs to be practicalized, not just by merely saying it, but this example also is also to be backed up with action. So I'll just go to the next slide, the 8th. And that generally Africans believe about corporal punishment. In Africa itself, the continent, is rooted in culture, it's rooted in tradition. And so in as much it influences our way of thinking, influences our behavior, our behavioral pattern. And so in the African belief, we have this common phrase that we normally say, we all know it's spare the rod and spoil the child. So now the rod now simply means a form of correction, a correction to where you're able to correct your child when he or she does wrong. So now in the African family, in African setting, the rod is very, very much important because it's very necessary. Okay. So what I'm just trying to say in essence is the Africans believe is mostly rooted in culture, and we mostly believe on that's the rod, which is of correction too. So that's in the home country. That's my country, Nigeria. We parent-child relationship in Nigeria itself is centered around tough love. Still very much similar to the explanation I made about the Africa as a whole. It's all about we place so much premium on respect. We place so much premium on correction and weeping and all those things. So I'd like to go to the last because I think my time is almost cut short. Things to note. Now, these are things I put down I would like to share with you all. Number one is violence, and some of it is as a result of unhealthy cultural beliefs. Some of us came from broken homes, abusive homes. Now, moving forward, parents and potential ones who suffer from any form of abuse should heal from past trauma before planning to raise a family, which I've said earlier on. Before thinking of trying to raise a child, please first fix yourself. Go back. First, you need to heal yourself from any terrible or horrible past that you have gone through. Number two is your child is not your fantasy. Stop trying to leave your expectations through them. Now, you need to understand, in as much you gave birth to that child, your child is whoever she is, and you are you. So you can't be able to change anything about your child. What you're supposed to do as a parent is just to guide them through. And then the third one, why do you want to have kids? Most of us, we don't really think this through. We just want to have kids based on societal pressure and expectation. You should think about all these things. Why do you really want to have kids? When you evaluate the whole points and ask yourself, am I really whole? Am I really whole mentally? Am I emotionally ready for this? When you ask yourself those questions, then if you feel that you're ready and you feel much ready to have, then you can go on. They can go on and be a parent. And then the fourth one is, as a parent or potential one, learn to be present in every stage of your child's life, from childhood to adulthood. Learn to be aware, learn to be conscious of what your child is doing, of the activities she's doing, the kind of friends she's keeping, and so on and so forth. And then the fifth one is, your child as a parent, it's your job as a parent to teach your child how to love himself or herself. One thing as a parent, you also need to teach your child self-esteem. He needs to learn self-esteem from you first, before trying to be able to, before going to school, that to be able to learn how to have self-worth, have self-dignity, it should start from the family. And then the last and not the least is, when you become a parent, you stop being the picture and you become the frame. And what do I mean by this? When you're a parent, it's not more about you. It's all about, you now become the frame. In as much as a frame is like a support, and the picture now is now your child, and now you stand as a support to your child. So as a parent, what you're supposed to do is move the mindset that it's all about you. It's not all about you, it's all about the child. What you're supposed to do is just to guide your child through a healthy phase of life, ensuring that their emotional, their physical, their social, and mental needs are being met. Thank you very much.